Welcome to the Brain Boost program. This program is designed to help you explore new ideas for activities that can help keep your brain healthy if you have early memory problems or have been diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment or very mild dementia. If you have an interest in finding new ways to maximize your brain health, this program is right for you. Look for the accompanying episode guide to help you navigate the activities in this program. I'm Dr. Greg Jica, and I'm a neurologist who focuses on taking care of patients with memory problems caused by diseases like Alzheimer's. I'm also a neuroscientist searching for new ways to slow and/or stop memory problems in aging. I've been researching ways to promote healthy brain aging for almost 35 years now, and while we continue to look for new medicines and potential cures for diseases like Alzheimer's, you should know that there's a lot you can do to promote your own brain health. Things such as mental stimulation, social engagement, physical activity, diet, and many other daily activities, all of which can make a huge impact. We hope you try some of these activities at home or come up with your own. Most of all, we want you to realize that you can take control of your own brain health through such activities.
New beginnings are always an exciting time in our lives, whether that be the birth of a new grandchild, moving into a new home, engaging in new activities, or making new friends. In this episode of Brain Boost, we will focus on the theme of new beginnings, using them to find new ways to keep our brains healthy as we age. Taking a blank piece of paper, canvas, or piece of wood and turning it into a work of art is what new beginnings are all about. A person doesn't have to create art to reap the benefits. Observing art has also been known to have brain benefits. Art can create new neural pathways in the brain. It can lower stress levels and anxiety by decreasing levels of cortisol and can increase serotonin levels. It can increase focus, allows you to be more present in the moment. Art can increase blood flow to specific regions of the brain responsible for feeling pleasure. It's never too late to benefit from art. Let's learn about how we can get started.
Welcome. We are here today at the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen in beautiful Berea. The Guild and Gift Shop is located in the Artist Village in Old Town off of Broadway. Hi, my name is Tonya and I work at Sanders Brown Center on Aging. For today's video, we are going to be doing these wonderful and easy watercolor poppies. This is a very beginner-friendly video, so grab your paint and let's begin. For today's supplies, we'll be using some watercolor paper, a medium-sized soft bristle brush, and watercolors of your choosing. So let's begin. First, we're going to wet our brush and make some poppies. So I'll go over to my red, get some red out. Let me wet it a little bit, help prime it, thin it out a bit, and let's go to our paper and form our first poppy. These are just blobs that we're making. They're not specific shapes. Poppies come in all different shapes and sizes. So we'll put 2 at the top, maybe 3 in the middle. And 2 more on the bottom. But this is up to you. You can put as many or little poppies as you want in your painting. Now let's give this a couple minutes to dry. Now that we've let it rest a few minutes and dry, let's add another layer to our poppies. This time we're going to make the color a little darker. This will give our poppies some dimension. So we're just going to add a little, well, maybe a little darker than that, a little color at the bottom of the poppies. And be creative and free with it. We don't want them all to look alike, so variation is very good in these poppies. And the last one. Now, before this dries, I want to add the stems and the leaves. So first I'm going to vigorously rinse out my brush and change to another color. For this color, I think I'll use a yellow-green, which if you don't have, just mix yellow and green together. Get some of that out. And to dull it, because it's kind of a bright color, we are going to mix in some orange. Add a little orange in. And it'll give us this pretty kind of olive color. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure what this part of the base of the flower is called, but we're going to add the green part to the base. And I want the green paint to touch the red paint. They will bleed into each other, which is an effect we like. It's called wet on wet. So let's draw the little base for our flowers. There we go. You can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see it. It pulls up into it. Looks very natural, very flowing. So let's put some stems in now. Get some more of my paint. Maybe add a little bit more color. I'm going to fill up the belly of my brush with as much paint as I can, and I'm going to roll it to get a fine point. Now I'm going to draw some stems. So just with a light hand, we're just going to draw some stems down. And add these other guys in. Couple more at the top. Let's see. And then come down and just meet. Now let's add some leaves. To add a leaf, we're going to make a little stem, and then we're going to get the brush, we're going to press, pull, and release. And it makes a little stem. I mean, not a little stem, a little leaf. So let's just keep doing that. Put leaves wherever you would like them. Remember, it's your painting. You can do whatever you want. Let's just add some leaves all around. Maybe add a little more. There, little leaf there. Okay. And maybe one more. It's fun painting leaves. Once you start painting them, you don't want to stop. It's very peaceful, kind of zen. Okay, now we have our leaves in. We're going to wait a little bit longer for our poppies to dry before we add the black button in the middle. Now that our poppies have dried, let's add the little black button that goes into the middle of them. So I'm going to get a little black on my brush. And again, we're just going to make little blobs in the middle. See that? A little wet. Get that off my brush. And if you see, this one ran a little bit. It was a little too wet, but I can fix that by blotting it. There's no mistakes here. They're just happy little accidents. So I'll blot that a little bit, rinse off, and get a little more red. Now let's continue on with our last row of poppy buttons. And there we go. We have it finished. This is a great little project if you want to make postcards or gift cards and send out to other people. If you would like more information on the Kentucky Guild of Artists and Craftsmen, please contact Jeanette Rowlett at info@kentuckyguild.com. Thank you and have a good day.
I love that poppies painting. The bright colors are exciting, and I can imagine a field of those flowers. They really brightened my day. I hope you are inspired to create your own masterpiece. Another great activity for brain health is stretching. There is so much going on within the brain and body as we stretch our muscles. Stretching improves blood flow to the brain and releases endorphins such as serotonin. Those endorphins help you feel more relaxed. Stretching also increases focus and flexibility, builds muscle, and increases range of motion. As a result, it can reduce your risk of getting injured. In studies related to stretching, regular yoga practice is associated with larger brain volume. There are many ways we can stretch throughout the day. We can do some simple stretches wherever we are, for as little or as long as we can. We can enroll in a class at the local gym, YMCA, or senior center. We can take a flexibility class online. Some options include Tai Chi, Pilates, and Qigong. Today, we've invited someone to lead us in Cheri yoga, another form of beneficial stretching. While you're extending your muscles, think of what is happening inside your brain and heart.
Hi, welcome to Cheri Yoga. I'm Elizabeth and I'm here at the Lexington Senior Center and I'm so happy that you're joining me today. So all you need today is a chair and your body. Once you're in your chair comfortably, you're going to scoot towards the edge of your chair so that you can sit up tall with your feet comfortably and securely on the floor. You can have your hands resting on your knees or on the chair, whichever is more comfortable. We're gonna start off by just sitting quietly for a few moments. You can keep your eyes open, or if it's comfortable, you can let them drift, softly close towards the tip of your nose or close them all the way. Just notice the parts of your body that are touching the floor and touching the chair. Start to draw your navel in towards your spine. Lift the chest up. Relax the shoulders back. Draw your chin in gently towards the chest so that the back of the neck lengthens. Feel the crown of the head float up towards the ceiling. Now bring awareness to the breath. With your next breath in, feel the breath fill the front of the chest. The next breath fills the front and back of the chest. Then your next breath fills front, back, and sides of the chest. Breath fills the chest in all directions. If the eyes are closed, open them up. We'll start raising and lowering our shoulders. You can do this with the breath. As you inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, relax the shoulders down along the back. Inhale, lift the shoulders up. And exhale down. Turn this into a circle. Start to bring the shoulders forward. Lift them up. Draw them back. And down. Shoulders forward. Up. Back. And down. And reverse this. Draw the shoulders back. Up. Forward. And down. Keeping that tall spine, shoulders back, up, forward, and down. Good. You can shake it out if you need to. Find your tall spine again, chest is lifted. Next, we'll do cat and cow. Again, hands can be here on the knees, or if it's more comfortable, you can put the hands on your chair for more support. With your next inhale, lift the chest. If it's okay for your neck, look up. As you exhale, draw the belly in. You can push your hands into your knees or the chair, round the spine. Just continue moving like this. Inhale, lift the chest, gaze is up. Exhale, draw the belly in. You can push hands against the knees or the chair. One more time. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, draw belly in. Around the spine. Come to a neutral seat again. This time, hold on to your left knee. Draw the belly in. Look up, just like you were doing before. But this time, your leg comes with you. If holding on to the knee doesn't work for your body, you can hold on behind the thigh. And then put the leg down. Push hands into the knees or the chair. Around the back. And the other side. Hug the right knee in, or you can hold on behind the leg. Lift the chest. Look up. Place the foot down. Press hands into knee or chair. Around the back. And come back to a comfortable, tall, seated position. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, sigh. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale, sigh. And we'll continue working with our feet. Hands can be on knees or the chair. You're going to lift and lower your heels, pressing the balls of the feet into the floor. So just raising the heels up and pressing them down. Raise the heels up and press them down. If this is pretty easy, you can add some resistance, pressing your hands into your knees, making your legs work just a little bit harder to lift and lower the heels. Very good. Again, we'll hold our left knee into our chest, or you can hold on behind the leg and just circle the ankle in one direction. And then reverse that circle. Either direction is fine. Put the foot down. Pick up the other leg. Circle the ankle in one direction. My ankle pops a lot. Maybe yours does too. And then circle the other direction. Put both feet down. Now holding on to the side or the seat of your chair, you're going to extend both legs out. Bring both legs in. Heels out, sitting up tall, and in. Now just the left leg reaches out Really press through the heel, straighten the leg as much as you can. Draw your belly in, lift your chest up. And just like a windshield wiper, you're gonna take your foot and move it side to side so that the entire leg is moving in and out. Bring that foot back in. Other foot extends out. Press through the heel, straighten the leg as much as you can. Draw the belly in, lift the chest. And then just like a windshield wiper, that leg goes in and out. Feel leg moving in the socket of the hip. Bring the foot back in. Sitting up tall, drawing the belly in. We're gonna take our legs and move them out just a little bit wider. Sitting up tall, we'll call this horse stance, sitting in horse stance. You might need to move a little bit closer to the edge of your chair. If this does not work for your body, you can totally keep your legs back in the center. No big deal. Sitting up tall, draw the belly in, lift the chest. Take your arms out wide like a cactus. Lift the chest. Hands are strong, arms are strong. We're gonna move our arms with the breath again. As you exhale, draw the elbows together, keep the shape of the arms. Inhale, arms open wide. Imagine the arms like wings. Exhale, closing the wings, forearms move towards each other. Inhale, arms open wide. Nothing changes in the arm, it's just moving in and out. The height of my upper arms is staying the same, parallel to the ground. Let's do this one more time. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, opening up. You can shake the arms out, relax them. Take the hands onto the knees. Sitting up tall, take the left hand, press it against the left leg. The right arm is going to reach up to the ceiling, stretching up and over to the right side. Draw the belly in towards the spine. Reach through the fingertips and come back center. Right hand presses into the right knee, sitting up tall. Left arm reaches up. Reach up and over to the right, stretching through the side of the body, drawing the belly in. And return center. You can bring your knees back in, close together. Sitting up tall. We will end today's practice with a calming breath meditation. Eyes can stay open or closed, or you can have them just soften towards the tip of the nose. Just like the beginning of class, draw the belly in, lift the chest, relax shoulders away from ears. Let all of the air empty out. Breathe in, notice the space at the top. Breathe out, space at the bottom. Breathe in, space, out, space. Breathe in, space, out, space. Continue breathing like this, finding a space at the top and the bottom of the breath. And then gradually just let your breath return to a natural rhythm. Observe how you feel. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga in a chair today.
That was fantastic. I imagine my serotonin levels have increased because I feel so relaxed after those stretches. What a way to be more active and feel more at ease. I'm going to start adding this to my schedule a few times a week. I didn't know chair yoga could feel this good. Now, when I consider beginnings, I think about all the new life that gardens create. People have been gardening and nurturing plants since the beginning of time. Taking some barren soil or a garden area and transforming it into something wonderful is an activity that touches us deeply. Planting a vegetable or flower garden or growing plants indoors stimulates us mentally as well as physically. Our brains get a boost by all that goes into gardening. From planning what we're going to grow, selecting the seeds and plants, to the physical labor of tilling, digging, hoeing, planting, and harvesting. There is so much for us to keep our brain stimulated. Some of you may say that you just don't have a green thumb, but here at Brain Boost, we believe that being motivated is the only thing that matters, not previous experience. Getting started with gardening can create a new beginning towards having a healthier brain. Today, we've invited Jamie and Cheri to join us. They work with our local cooperative extension service. Let's hear some gardening tips that they have to get us started.
Hi, I'm Jamie Dockery, Fayette County Extension Agent for Horticulture, and we're here in one of our beautiful volunteer-maintained demo gardens at the Extension Office. This happens to be the vegetable garden. We have some flowers too. And I am here with one of our valued Master Gardener volunteers, and this is Cheri Fouts. She's a gardening aficionado, so we want to share some tips about how little things and tricks and hacks you can utilize to make it a little easier and keep gardening longer. So Cheri, my mother, is 88, fortunately does not have any memory issues, but she can't garden the way she used to. I suspect this is true of lots of people, and let's talk about some of these ideas you have that can keep people going a little longer in the garden.
Well, it isn't that she can't, since you say that she's physically able.
Right.
Is that she either can't do it the way she used to do it, and she's got 1,000 excuses.
Exactly.
There's good reasons to garden, and one of the good reasons is because it gives you plenty of exercise, it gives you vitamin D,
Yes.
being outside, it gives you the ability to converse with neighbors or to converse with family, friends about different things that you're using, different things that you're growing. It is a sense of accomplishment. It helps with depression, which is
Wonderful.
a big problem with people that are of any kind of age. And if you have any kind of physical issues, you can work through those.
I see you've brought lots of props and things we can talk about. Tell us about some of the things you've got here and how folks could use those to make life easier in the garden.
Okay. Brought a 5-gallon bucket when early on when I was gardening. I sometimes would get tired because I do have two types of arthritis.
Very handy.
Yep, everybody's got a 5-gallon bucket. So you tip it over and put it on the ground. You can use that in the garden to carry out your tools and also as a seat.
And I'm assuming this would help if we're seated, and this is also just a kneeling pad that can be used alone to cushion knees getting up and down.
I have a rock bed at our house, and so I always sit on one of those. So it's a level that you can sit on, but it's not comfy.
Wonderful, and these would both be very inexpensive.
Right. This is a little bit more expensive. I think this is about 40 bucks. I actually found my first one that I ever had at like a Goodwill thrift store.
Right.
And you can actually use this two ways. You can sit on it like a chair.
Right, and I'm going to do this while you talk.
Yeah.
So
like a chair, and that's quite comfortable.
Nice, and then you could just work in front.
And that's the way I usually do it. Or if you are still good with your knees, I have artificial knees, so I can't do that so well. Put it down and kneel on it, and yeah.
Oh, that's
nice
great.
Cushion. And then the added support, the difference between that and the other pad is the fact that you've got handles to get up.
And that cushion under the knees is huge.
Yeah, it is.
That's great.
But most of us have a problem getting up from the position on the ground. So having that available is helpful. So,
Great.
Yeah.
I see you've got some other specific tools that people might want to use.
Yeah, I think you need to work smarter,
Okay.
harder as you get older. And one of the things that I've noticed with arthritis is that I don't want to have tools that are thin and handles. I like
Yeah.
to have thicker handles.
Pardon me.
And if you don't have tools that are kind of ergonomically correct or thicker handles, which you can purchase, you can also adapt those. You can use a pool noodle and cut it and use it, go around the handle, tape it on with some duct tape and such, and that
So
just makes it a little easier.
We
for
would
you.
just split that and put it on the handle. Great.
And that gives you a little bit more cushion. And these are the small pool noodles,
Right.
not the big ones.
And those are easier to grip, and they also do a black pipe insulation at home improvement stores. That's a little squishier foam, and it's pre-split.
smaller,
Yeah,
But if you're short on cost, I mean, I know older folks are often dealing with fixed income.
sure.
So you need to be as economical as possible. So, but if you've got piping around at home, that even works better.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to grab something you shared with me that I had never thought of, that I thought was fascinating.
There's two things there.
There are,
Yeah.
and I never would have guessed how you use these.
This is actually piping, like PVC pipe or plumbing or whatever. And this actually was part of a roping system I had at home. Rope went through there. But if I want to put seed in the ground, and these come in different widths, different diameters for different sized seeds, but I can actually put a seed in the top of this directly where I want to put it without bending over.
That's
The things
wonderful.
You want to do in the garden, you are constantly bending over. If you can minimize that, if you have a bad back or bad hips or bad knees, it just is very helpful. If you just move it and drop a seed.
And this looks like a vacuum attachment. Is
Yeah,
this
it is.
similar?
It is. For instance, you could do the same thing by sitting in a wheelchair or on the seat and drop a seed, a larger seed. In
Oh,
there.
if you're closer to the ground.
Yeah, so you can sit and do that as well. But anyway, that's just something everybody has at home. These, another thing, PVC pipes. Most people have some sort. This is actually a little longer, but you just put it more diagonally. And then this one might be entertaining
Okay.
to people.
Oh,
Most people,
I know how this works.
Yeah. Most people, as they get older, know exactly what to do with this inside the home. If you are out in the garden, you can use it. I use it to pick blackberries, frankly.
I could get that bug right
Yeah.
there.
Reach over the blackberries that I can reach easily to things I can't.
Those are very handy. What other tools here do you like that you wouldn't want to be without? And then we'll talk about some weather things and
Yeah,
some
well,
clothing.
Definitely my knife.
Oh yes, these are wonderful.
I love those. These are my favorites. This I've had for about 10 years, you can tell, because it's pretty worn and pretty dirty. I use it all the time. But it has measurements on the side, so you can dig in and see how far down you need to measure. It'll cut things on this side, cut little vines and stuff that you're trying to get rid of, or seedlings or whatever.
I have one of these, and I've found sometimes that difficult root on the weed, this will slice right through it where something else would not.
Yep, I probably use this, that's my new one. I probably use this more than any other tool going. I also like my weeder here.
Oh, this is great, and I
Yep.
see you have two similar.
Yeah. If you're sitting, you can use this. You're just kind of clawing at the dirt with it, I guess, and it cuts. This is a sharp edge, and it cuts through weeds, and it is absolutely amazing. I love this, probably the second best tool ever.
Well, and although they can cost a little more, there are many tools in the market that are specifically ergonomically made. So the handles might be a little bigger, or they might work differently or at a different angle.
Yep.
But there are things like this that already exist that you can buy, but some of these at-home hacks are much less expensive,
Right.
obviously.
This is normal. You can get this anywhere. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, even if you need that. I'm not booking the Dollar Tree. It's just if you're on a fixed income, that's a good place to go. But this is so small, the handle, that if you've got arthritis, it really hurts when you grip things. So to have a bigger handle is
Right.
so much better. That's why if you can adapt it, or if you can afford to buy something that's a little bit more ergonomically correct, then do so.
And pool noodles would probably work on something like
yeah,
this as
sure.
well.
Sure.
These perplex me. I know this is inexpensive.
All right.
What do you do with these?
We all have a hole in the ground in the yard made by something you
Like a
dug up.
trip hazard?
Oh yeah. If you're older, what you need, leaving if you're not.
Right.
Or anybody. We tend to trip in the hole, step in the hole caused by a rodent or caused by our own self, pulling up something and not filling it back in immediately. I just put these in the garden to keep away birds sometimes from different things that I don't want them to mess with. But I also use them to plant in the ground. And I know when I come around that plant or that area that that's something I need to be cautious about.
And it's very easy to see and spot.
And you don't want to keep finding that same hole 10 times before you fill it in. I also use the tape. This tape is about $2.50. It's not much. A large roll. You can use it. It's very stretchy. You can put it on tomato plants. It doesn't hurt the tomato plants at all. And anyway, you can tie things up to give them support. But also I use it in the garden to kind of rope off things.
Absolutely.
So that I can make sure that this is an area I was telling you earlier, I might wall off my asparagus so that it doesn't get accidentally.
Or flop over.
Yeah.
Great.
So it does support, but it also lets you know, where something is that you need to not mow over.
Well,
folks not familiar with your yard.
as we're standing out in this heat and I'm sweating, I'm also thinking about all the tips we can share about proper hydration. I mean, obviously, whatever you're doing, that's important.
Absolutely, yep. I've got mine.
Got yours?
Yep. I keep mine in my back pocket, but this is just a bag that you carry your tools out with you. It just saves the extra mileage going in and out.
Oh, I'm in and out all day long.
Keep it in a 5-gallon bucket or a bag. Do whatever to keep your amounts of time you have to move
Sure.
less. Always have something like water available to you. You also, I would suggest, if you're in the garden and you're older, I would suggest keeping your phone with you. I have it in my pocket.
Absolutely.
Have a phone or a whistle or I don't know, a cowbell, anything. Some sort of way to get in touch with our neighbors so that we can get help if we need it.
I know from my mother, some of that generation don't love the cell phone and aren't accustomed to drink, so I'm nagging all the time.
Yeah. So put it in your pocket or use a fanny pack of some sort.
You've got
keep that.
several different gloves. Talk to me about this kind of thing.
Okay, well, if I'm going to do something a little bit more, I don't know, for me, working with, like the other day, I did some cactus work.
Yes.
And this was a little thicker glove, so I used these to transplant my cactus. These might be the lighter ones that I use most of the time in the greenhouse. And then these also are kind of light. There's some over there that I showed you that are especially
I
nice.
love these because they're so spongy.
These are great because they have sort of a rubbery a palm is rubbery, and what happens is when you hold on to any kind of tool, the grip is so good you're not going to drop it. And if you already have problems with bending or getting up, the last thing you want to do is continually bend over to pick things up that you drop. So this is a nice rubberized padding that'll keep things in your hand, and that's important.
Those are all wonderful tips. I also want to talk about a couple of other things that aren't so directly related to gardening, but you had mentioned earlier while we were preparing for this, the importance of just being outside. If you're a caregiver, even if the person can't help in the garden, there's benefit to being out on a bench, for example, or somewhere nearby so they can remain engaged and ask questions and things like that.
It's important for that person with dementia or any kind of dementia to be outside and involved. And if they perhaps are not cognitively able to do what you're able to do as a caregiver, just having them in the yard is a good thing.
Well, and I also know that in my mother's instance, she can't do everything she used to do, but we're learning to scale down and to shrink the area of garden she maintains and stuff. And on that same note, even at my age, anybody who gardens, the community around gardening, whether it be sharing produce with a neighbor, there's engagement and there's community building, and relationships are so important, particularly among aging people who, well, quite frankly, where it's easy to just stay home and not engage. So I think gardening can be a ticket to all of that, keeping conversations going and keeping friends engaged.
It's a great conversation starter. And if you go to farmer's market, maybe you don't garden, but you go to farmer's market, just talking to people who are growing things.
Yes.
And talking about what you used to grow and how you used to grow things. That's important. I don't really see many instances where you can't garden to some extent. Container gardening, raised beds, could be anything from 2 inches off the ground to something that is waist high, and I have mine are waist high.
I have seen amazing models you can get or build that are wheelchair accessible, where there might be like a tabletop of soil you can roll right up to and stuff. So all of those things, containers, just putting stuff in a large pot. As a horticulturist, I would share that small pots will wear you out in terms of watering, but a really large container, something 2 feet across, is a very reasonable size for like a large tomato plant or something that's going to drink a lot of water. So just thinking about what we grow in, how we grow, and just realizing, I think, the appreciation that we don't have to give up something so important to me. It's breaking my mother's heart to scale down, but I don't think she'll ever stop, no matter what the challenge.
Because it does help with anxiety, it helps with depression. There's just something amazing about being outside besides the physical nature with the sun and just the fresh air and stuff. But it is, I said earlier, nothing like going out in the garden and seeing a yellow squash.
Well, and we've all seen recent research that point out the benefits of just being in nature, being in green spaces, and even just hearing the birds and insects this morning. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Cheri, thanks for being with us today and sharing all these wonderful tips. I hope we shared some stuff that caregivers or people who have some issues of their own or are just getting older will help them to realize they can keep doing what they love, just maybe in a different manner or on a slightly smaller scale.
I think it's great. Get out and garden. So Jamie, as people get older, there's no reason for them to not garden. But there may be some adaptations they need to make as far as different kinds of plants.
What they grow.
Yeah.
And that's a very good point, because we're standing here in the vegetable garden, and quickly I can tell you everything that's here is not wildly successful every time, and some things are way more difficult and challenging than others. So everyone thinks vegetable garden, thinks corn and some of these other things. You're not likely to succeed with some of those more challenging crops. So some good, easy starter vegetables are things like root crops, carrots, radishes, turnips, things like that. Also tomatoes and peppers, although they do have some issues, those are one of the easiest things to grow, and you keep getting yield throughout the season. Bush beans will always be on my list of easily grown stuff, as are any greens that you can grow. The cabbages, the kale, there's some pest pressure you may have to worry about with butterflies and caterpillars, but just selecting the right vegetables that are easy to grow from that shorter list will help be successful too. Another thing, since we also mentioned flower gardens, the types of flowers you grow, I mean, some of the easiest annuals would obviously be things like marigolds, which you mentioned. They don't have to be deadheaded. There may or may not be, there's anecdotal information they get rid of some bugs, but I don't know how factual that is. But also, annual flowers, marigolds would top my list. Also, annual vinca is very easy.
Petunias and things that need a lot of deadheading.
Yes, and things that are drought tolerant, like lantana or like vinca, are very useful as well. Another thing we could share with people, if you've been accustomed to doing a lot of annuals each year, you may want to consider converting some of that to perennials that come back each year. They have a much shorter bloom time than the annuals, but you don't have to replant every year. So that may be something to help people have less workload while still enjoying their garden and flowers.
And another one that I've gotten into a lot lately is succulents.
Oh yes.
Easiest plant to grow and to propagate.
And
so successful, and they're so easy and so fun to grow. Anybody can do that, indoors, outdoors.
And they store their own water, so if you need to leave on vacation for 2 weeks, they'll still be alive when you get back.
And herbs.
Herbs are great. Almost all the herbs are super easy to grow and great butterfly and pollinator plants as well. These have been some great tips, Cheri. I really appreciate you being with us, and I really appreciate our viewers joining us today. I'm Jamie Dockery, Fayette County Extension Agent for Horticulture. This is our Master Gardener Volunteer, Cheri Fouts, and we hope you found something beneficial that will help keep you engaged in something you love. And find a way. You don't have to give up something you love. No matter what our challenges, there are ways you can keep engaged and keep gardening, and we'd encourage that at every turn.
Wow, those garden tips gave me lots of great ideas. I hope you feel inspired too. What would you like to grow? Tomatoes, strawberries, a beautiful houseplant, or maybe something else? There are so many things we can grow, whether we have a large outdoor garden, a raised bed, containers on our back porch, or plants inside. Cheri and Jamie showed us how important planning for the garden is. Planning is important in other areas of our lives too. At some point in life, we all have to plan for the future. We have to deal with situations like retirement, medical care, and even legal matters like arranging for healthcare directives. We've got some tips that can help you start the process of planning. Let's listen as we hear about preparing and taking charge of our own advance directives.
A power of attorney is a legal document that gives someone of your choosing the authority to make decisions on your behalf while you're still living. The person you give authority to is called the agent or attorney in fact. A healthcare power of attorney allows someone to make medical decisions for you. A financial or business power of attorney allows someone the authority to conduct business or make financial decisions on your behalf. You can have separate healthcare power of attorney and financial or business power of attorney documents. You can name separate individuals to act in those roles. For instance, your daughter may be really good with medical decisions, so you choose her to be your healthcare agent, while your son may be very good managing money, and you select him to be your financial agent. The agent can also be the same person. A durable power of attorney has wording so that if you lose capacity to make decisions for yourself, the person you have chosen will act on your behalf for you. Specific powers are written into the power of attorney, and depending on those specifications, the power of the agent may be limited. It is a good idea to have an attorney draft this document with you to make sure you have everything covered. When appointing someone to carry out your decisions, it's important to have a conversation with that person and make sure they want to serve in this role, and that they know your wishes and can carry them out. You'll want to make sure this person is trustworthy and can act in your best interest. An agent cannot change a person's legal will or shift the agent's role to someone else. If at any time you change your mind, you can revoke the power of attorney and choose someone else to act as your agent. If you already have a power of attorney document, you may want to review it from time to time to make sure the agent you have selected is still the best person to carry out your decisions, as healthcare needs and life circumstances may have changed since the power of attorney was written.
Those are great tips to think about. Even if you've already got advance directives, it's a good idea to review them. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Brain Boost. Every day is a new start, and we hope that you discovered some new activities that can help you along your own path to healthy brain aging. We look forward to seeing you next time on Brain Boost, and we hope you have a wonderful day full of new beginnings.